Hey guys, Put here again with the third game of week 1 of the NABA, and this matchup features the Torkoals versus the Mudkips, and this battle was pretty long. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, so I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to go ahead and get right into this one. We got Nidoqueen, Garchomp, Mamoswine, Gudra, Zapdos, and Galvantula on the side of the Torkoals. We got Rotom W, Zygarde Doggo form, we got Skarmory, Umbreon, Mew, Ditto. Let's go. So John's gonna lead out with the Galvantula, and Matt's gonna lead out with the Ditto that imposters the Galvantula. So this was kind of a weird setup here, because I was thinking, Matt has two options here. He can either also set up the sticky webs, or he can volt switch out and break the sash on Torkoals, on the Torkoals side. And it's kind of a tough decision, because if he sets up the webs, then he has his own webs, and also, but the only bad thing is that his Ditto would be stuck on sticky web, because it's got to be choice scarfed. So he'd have to switch out, and he decided he just wanted to go ahead and break the sash. But either probably would have been fine, I believe, because he does break the sash here, and John is just able to get up his sticky web. So the Mudkips go straight out into the Doggo, and Outrage takes out the Galvantula. I actually don't agree with this play, mostly because he's now locked into Outrage really early into the game, which is a really dangerous move, especially with a team that has really low offensive pressure in these six, because you got like Skarmory and Umbreon offer very little offensive pressure at all. Rotom can offer quite a bit. Obviously Zygarde 10% can, Ditto can if he copies the right Pokemon, and Mew obviously can too. But he needs to be really careful to use this thing correctly, and I'm thinking that using Outrage this early is really risky. I think Earthquake would have been better, because it still would have killed. I mean, obviously he runs the risk of, I don't know what he's running, it might be banded, but if he's not a choice item, I really disagree with the Outrage play. If he's running a choice, he still should have clicked Earthquake. If the Zapdos switches in, oh well, switch out to something different, but he needs to keep this thing alive, and it's just too risky. So out comes the Mamoswine, and the Icicle Crash misses, which is bad news bears, but then Mamoswine lives. And then he's able to take out the Zygarde with the Icicle Crash, so one offensive threat is gone, which is huge. So out comes the Ditto, copying the Mamoswine, and the Mamoswine is going to use and get the flinch. He gets the flinch, which is huge. So now I was confused about this play, and I just want to tell you what I found in my research, because I whenever Ditto hit the sticky web, it popped up that he got slowed, right? And then he transforms with Imposter, and it goes away. And I was unsure if that transforming made stat changes go back to 0, or if he kept those stat changes, and maybe it just kind of bugs out on the showdown and doesn't show him because the transform just covers him up or something. So I was really confused about this, and I had to go check it. So I went and checked it, and it appears that he does keep the stat loss, because I'll just show you right here. Let's play it. So he goes for the Earthquake, and at the time I was like, why in the world did he go for Earthquake? Because John's other 4 mons here, we got Nidoqueen, Garchomp, Gudra, and Zapdos, are all weak to Icicle Crash, and I know this Ditto's choice scarfed. So he locked himself in the Earthquake when he could have just locked himself in the Icicle Crash, which I don't really think matters all that much. It does matter though, because the only play for John would have been to go into Garchomp and to use well, he probably could have done Zapdos as well, because I think max speed timid Mamoswine with a Scarf that's been slowed by Sticky Web reaches 321 speed, and Garchomp at max speed Jolly reaches 333, and so Zapdos would have outsped 2 at timid. So yeah, John had a couple options to go into to kill this thing before it could kill another with the Icicle Crash. I don't know if John would have realized that, because it was such a weird situation. I honestly wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have known really what to do on his side if he had gone for the Icicle Crash, because I would have think that I might have just lost the game completely. So he just goes into his Gudra here because he's seen the Earthquake. So he should have gone into Zapdos, honestly, but he probably didn't. But he was probably just playing it safe, making sure that he wasn't that he was scarfed, because if he goes into Zapdos and then thinking that he's going to be completely fine, and then maybe Matt pulls out something different, you know, he doesn't want to lose Zapdos on a play like that, so he makes the safer play. And then Mamoswine has to switch into Skarmory, and the Focus Blast misses here. Okay, so that Flamethrower does a ton of damage, and he is able to get rid of the sticky webs. And see, this kind of goes back to that turn 1 where if he would have set up webs on Galvantula instead, his Mamoswine Ditto actually could have swept, because the other team would have been slow too. Well, actually, Zapdos wouldn't have gotten caught in the webs, so maybe not still, but it would have been a different situation. Alright, so out comes the Rotom Wash. I think I'm going to have to turn it on fast mode here soon. Gudra's super specially defensive. It's eating those pretty easy. The Draco Meteor does a ton. Gudra puts in a lot of work this game. Just kind of like eating hits and dishing out damage. Okay, I'm going to put it on fast mode real quick and just let it run, because this battle gets really stally. We start seeing a bunch of wishes and a bunch of protects. So Zapdos is able to get the KO on the Ditto, which is huge, because now there's really only 2 offensive threats left, and that's Rotom and Mew. So Matt's going to have to really play this. He's going to have to find a way to get his Pokemon in there, his offensive mons in there, and make them threatening. The problem is that Gudra's still around, and both of his offensive threats that are left are both special threats. So Gudra, honestly, Gudra should probably be sitting in the back for John right now, just for reasons like to keep him safe. But if Gudra's hitting Focus Blast, he is doing a lot of damage to this thing and forcing it to Wish Pass to itself. And so at this point, I think John's just trying to stall out wishes and protects as best he can, as he keeps hitting these and doing so much damage. I say so much because it's Umbreon, and Umbreon is incredibly bulky. So John's trying to just use different moves into the protect, because he doesn't want to waste too many PP. So great plays by him there, because he's using his Ice Beams because he knows he doesn't need them. Very smart play. So in comes the Rotom. If he would have gone for something different there, he could have killed Rotom, like maybe a Draco or something, or maybe even a Focus Blast. He could have killed him. Yeah, he definitely would have come for Focus Blast if he'd have done it on that turn. So the Rotom is still there. Yeah, so there's nothing really happening here, because none of the Mons on Matt's team have enough offense to break through this Gudra, but yet this Gudra doesn't have enough offense to break through anybody on their team. So it's just a bunch of wishes, and I think Matt's just trying to Wish Pass into this thing. And if John, he mispredicted on 2 turns onto the Rotom, and if he would have just used any of his other moves, well, except for Ice Beam, if he would have used Draco or Focus Blast on any of those switches and hit it, then he would have gotten rid of Rotom Wash and been in a much better situation. But he guessed wrong both times, going for the Flamethrower, and now Gudra's low and in a bad spot. So the foul play, he gets the Paralyze. Synchronized does not matter. So really clutch para there, or could be. But it doesn't matter because the Heal Bell comes off. But it at least wastes a turn and doesn't allow Matt to set up another Wish. Zapdos will be going for T-Bolt here, not Heat Wave. Out comes the Garchomp, and the Wish comes true. Umbreon's back to full. So Garchomp is going to try to pressure this team here. He's going to fire out the Outrage. It does not much, but Skarmory is so low. He's able to kill it, so that's huge. He's able to get that thing off the board. And he goes into Confusion, which is actually really good, because it allows him to switch out. So he's just going to go in the Z-Dose here. And this actually is a ton of damage. That's a +1 Mew on Special Defense, and that did almost 40%. So now use that +2. And this T-Bolt does 31%. And he gets parried again. That is some really bad luck. And Zapdos actually survives. Let me pause it real quick. So he was +2. I don't know what Eevee said he was running, but I did the calcs on this one, and if he's like max special attack +2, that easily kills from that range, I believe. I think he was either running 0 EVs with a modest nature. No, he couldn't have been running modest because he was outspeeding Zapdos before he got parried, right? Hold on one second. Oh, no, he wasn't. Okay, so he probably, so he probably was running just a modest, I think he was running modest 0 EVs and then maybe some in speed and bulk. I'm not sure what he's running, but I wouldn't say bulk because of how hard that Zapdos was hitting, even at +2 special defense. So I'm unsure of what set he was running there, but I'm really surprised that +2 psychic didn't kill. Anyways, Zapdos is alive for one more turn, and it gets off some nice damage as a wish goes up. So some more wish stalling here from the Umbreon. And I'm pretty sure he's getting low on wishes here. I don't think I can see. No, I can't see in the replay, but he was getting pretty low. And another Paralyze comes out. So Zapdos not doing the most, not finishing anybody off really, but getting Paras all over the place. Really doing good work. So Garchomp comes out. Outrage hits. Now here's some crazy stuff starts happening here soon. Not yet, but so the Garchomp gets confused, which is pretty bad because it would have finished him off on the next turn. He's got to switch into his Goodra, and he gets another free wish off. So he goes right back in the Garchomp, predicting the Protect. He gets it right, and now he's threatening. He's threatening with Outrage again. All right, so it's a 2-hit KO, and then that Foul Play does so much. But then the Rough Skins actually hurts him more because if he would have done something different, he could have healed enough and then survived the next Outrage. So he goes for double Protect and he gets it. And Outrage, of course, doesn't hit again. He gets the triple Protect. Okay, I gotta pause it here for a second. I gotta explain this because it's really confusing. So let's go back a couple turns. Okay, so the way Outrage works is that it hits for 2 to 3 turns, and then it confuses the user. But if it gets interrupted by like a Protect, for example, on this play. So let's say if this Outrage would have been a 2-turn confusion, then John's Garchomp would have got confused right here, and he would have had to switch. But he didn't get confused here, so that means it was going to be a 3-turn one. But since it got interrupted, the counter goes back down to 0. Okay, if that makes any sense. So the counter is now back at 0. Okay, and so now the next play, that gets the double Protect, which really doesn't matter because John's counter is now at 0, and since that one didn't hit, it's still at 0. So then he gets the triple Protect here. It still doesn't matter, counter's still at 0, and then boom, now the counter's at 1. If you can follow along here, because I know that's really confusing. Outrage, that's number 2, and then he gets a 3 roll again, and there's the 3. So if you count the Protects, it was 7 Outrages without a confusion. I've never seen anything like that, but of course it was because of the Protects. But that was just like crazy. We were all like losing our minds. We did not know what happened because we did not realize that Protect and Outrage behaved in that way. That was a crazy game. That one got turn 56, all kinds of plays. Garchomp coming through with the 4 KOs and breaking through for 7 Outrages in a row. Just an insane game. Great game, guys. John picking up the 4-0 victory. Alright, and now on to the last game of the week.